Y'all had a lot to say in the comments, man. About my boy Brandon and A. Y'all got a lot to say in the comments, but that's okay though, because we here to respond. Let's start at the top. First comment. What the is that guy smoking? This is going to Brandon. As Kyrie not being a top 4 player in the NBA Finals.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, based on game one, I'm right, and I'm gonna say it like this: Jaylen Brown has scored more points in these playoffs than Kyrie. He's also been, I would say, just as essential to his team as he's been. Plus, he's 6'6" and 230 and can guard. Like, I just think that means something. Like Kyrie, all time, sure, you can make the argument that Jaylen Brown isn't anywhere close to Kyrie all time. Sure, I'm talking about right now, these playoffs. Brown's better. That's just the way it is. He scores more points. He defends the best perimeter player on the other team a lot of the times. I think he does more for the Celtics than Kyrie has to do for the Mavs.
I just want to say, low key, I was right about Jason Tatum and Kyrie because both of them do much. Jason Tatum had 15, Kyrie had 12. I just want to say they was just as impactful in those games.
J Lee 9360 says Jason Tatum is the most I'm assuming it's overrated person in the NBA.
Take what now?
I'm be honest, I agree. I think Tatum gets like a crazy. He gets plays, man.
Here we go.
I saw people saying, it's crazy to say that Tatum had a bad game. He set some really good screens out there. What? He set really good screens? Wow, I didn't know we were talking about the supreme scorer Jason Tatum and not freaking Rudy Gobert. Let's treat it the way it's treated. He's been inconsistent. Like, sure, he doesn't need to score 30 points every game. I get it. I absolutely get it. But he ain't had that 15 until the game was over. I'm not trying to hear it.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I can't ever agree that anybody is more overrated as long as Rudy Gobert's still in the NBA. I just can't. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. I can't. Look. Whatever after that is whatever. But like, as long as Rudy Gobert, 4-time defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert is in the league, I can never say that somebody is more overrated than him.
I feel like
the guy with the best record in the NBA couldn't possibly be over. It's kind of crazy.
I just think they talk about him like 22 years old. Still, like they say, oh, he has so much more to show, and I'm like, sure, whenever he wants to show it.
Aiden Siaga Hoops, aka Mr. Balenciaga, has this as his ranking for the players in the top 4. Luka 1, obviously. JT 2, Kyrie interchangeable with Jaylen Brown as 3 and 4.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Grant Robinson, I hope that's not the real Grant Robinson, says question mark. I'm assuming that's against Kyrie. He's top 3 for sure. Probably second behind Luka.
Not right now, he ain't.
It feels very good to be vindicated right now with that game 1. That's all I'm saying. I feel like my top 4 showed. I feel like the top 4 lineup exactly how I said it was. Except Tatum set some really nice screens. So that proves he's number 2.
Oh yeah, let's see. Was it Ick378? Whatever that name is. Shout out to you. Says right because height has affected juries. I'm assuming injuries throughout this playoff run and his career. Huh?
They have.
Yeah, it seemed like sarcasm.
The wording is off. But whatever. How you feel?
It's crazy because they say that and they're like, yeah, if they're being condescending, they're right. They're still right in what they're saying because he has been injured in playoffs. Like 2015, he was injured during one of those Nets runs. He was injured during 2 of the Cleveland runs. Like, what are we even talking about here?
I think the thing people are forgetting too, all guards have to deal with, you're the smallest guy on the floor, so you're the mismatch that most people will hunt. You look at the NBA today, from 3, 4, 5 on up, most of those guys are 6'8" on up. And so if you got 6'1", 6'2" guard, yeah, if we could get the switch to that guy, that's, even if he's not a bad defender, that's still the most ideal matchup because of height.
Yeah,
so,
that's why
it's like I don't get the people, like, people be having issue with that type of thing because it's just fact. It's facts of basketball. Like, it's not saying that he's bad, but he's gonna be tired because he's the smallest guy and they're attacking him. So when he gets the ball on the other end, he doesn't have as much energy. He's been trying to run around 7-footers all day.
Shout out to our dog Deeds. Our boy Deed says, I got Dallas in 6.
It's like that. That's the right opinion right there. Shout out to Deeds.
Look, it sounds good, but look, the shots say otherwise, so we're gonna keep it pushing. So, disclaimer: I am not a Celtics fan. I just roll with them for devil's advocate, so I gotta roll with them. I'm not a Celtics fan. We all team LeBron over here. Team Bron. If Toronto is LeBronto, we gotta come up with a name for Boston because he owned them too. LeBoston, the Celtics, the LeBron tick. See, y'all give us something in the comment section. Y'all give us something. The LeBron plus Celtics, something like LeBronto. But LeBronto is just iconic. I don't think that'll ever be.
That just worked out too well.
I'm rooting for the Mavs, but you can't really call the Celtics frauds and say it's gonna go to a game 7. That's a competitive series. Yes, I can, because they should beat them in 5. They should beat them in 5. What do you mean? They won 6 before this series even started. They should be out there. They should be up by 25 every game. Exactly what happened game 1 should happen for the rest of the series. But the Celtics stink because they stink and they can't. And when the game's close, they for some reason they start to lose track of what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's mentality. But whenever the games are close, and we've seen it 3 times, we've seen it twice over the past 4 years when the Heat beat them. That if all you gotta do is hit them in the, and then they back down, and they got rid of their enforcer, and who did they bring in to replace him? I don't know, but they haven't been pushed at all. Like no one's tested to see how tough they are at all over the past year, because they've been so good that it's kind of hard to keep it in there. That's why I'm like, it sucks that they didn't get to play. They didn't get to play start players on the they missed Jimmy Butler, they missed Halliburton. They didn't have to play the they didn't have to play the Knicks, they didn't have to play the Sixers. Then they didn't have to play Anthony Edwards. They didn't have to play the Nuggets at all. So I mean, who's if any of the people that they've played, who's gonna test them? We saw someone on legitimately on the level of Brown when they played against them, and it was a competitive game. They lost, and that was to the Cavs. They lost a game to Donovan Mitchell, and then they lost the game to Andrew. They punched them in the mouth, and they weren't able to keep up with it. There's no universe should that happen to a team that's good. This is why I think the Celtics moved a little too fast when they got rid of Ime. I just think they should have kept him. Regardless of what happened, they should have just kept him. I think that he was their enforcer, even though he was their coach, if that makes sense. It's weird to say, but I think it's true, and it definitely rang true last season, is that they needed someone to be tough on them. And because they're kind of in a position where they can win every game by a lot right now, whenever they do get tested, if it happens at all during the series, I can definitely see them shrinking to the moment. And that's not a slight to them. I've just seen it too many times. To them specifically.
The thing that I look at the most when it comes to the two of those teams is Luka's a more reliable one than Jason. That's a big thing for me, is that even in the game that they just lost, they lost because Luka couldn't get the assist with the point. He had 30. He just only had 1 assist. He couldn't make it happen for how he normally does. But he still gave you 30. Jason Tatum had 17. Granted, they won, but I don't know. I just feel like when most number 1 option guys win games like that, they put a big stamp on the win. It's usually like that guy led the charge. And it's I guess that's why they're trying to do the whole narrative of trying to split him and Jaylen Brown up and trying to say Jaylen Brown's better because he's been leading the charge the past couple games in these playoffs, even before the Dallas game, the last couple games of the Indiana series, he's the one leading the charge. So it's I get why they're trying to push that, but it's just even still, it's kind of the same thing with him. That's another reason why the both of them need to stay together, because I feel like they help each other in that regard, because I don't feel like either one of them is that dynamic number 1 option. I feel like they both work as the 1-2 punch together, but I don't feel like either one of them is great enough to be the dynamic number 1.
All right, that's why I felt so I got so offended by hearing about how good of Jason Tatum's screens he how the screens Jason Tatum set.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hear all supposed
Which
to be
is
the
crazy
guy.
that people talk about that, but both of them had a poster dunk that game. Like, we
Yeah.
really talking about screens, and Jaylen Brown came through, dunked on 4 people. Jason Tatum, off the half spin, came through mid, bam, bam, real quick, dunked on 3 people. It's like, we really talk about his screen?
I mean, if he wants to be considered a Kobe disciple, he has to be held to those same standards.
For sure.
That's where I'm trying to make. That's my real point in all is that he's asking to be held to a higher standard, but he's not being held to that same standard, and they're also hyping him up as if he's like the next face of the league, or potentially could be. When I just don't think he's done, like, I mean, he's done stuff to put himself out there. I'm just not like, I don't think he's the guy for that. I think he's too much of a team guy to be seen in that way.
Hayden over Schlake. Before the game
Okay.
started, you had Celtics in 6. After the game was over, you had Celtics in 6. Shout out to you for doubling down. I got to say about that. He probably right. Look, I'm with him. I'm with Hayden.
You think he's from Boston? You think he's in Massachusetts?
Shouts out to everybody.
Yeah, we want you guys to continue to comment so we can have come back to and speak about, like, this is a good conversation to have. It's nice to know where you guys' heads are as well. That way we can, at least we know we're doing something right if you guys got opinions on what we're saying.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Haven.